Today's confession comes from Lady Lynda. Thank you, Lady Lynda. Hello, says Lady Lynda. I have a confession to make. Indeed. It's all true, not made up, and I've now emigrated to the Republic of Ireland, so feel safe enough to make this one public.
Oh.
Back in 2006, myself and my partner, I would call him Matt, were living in a vague English county.
A vague English county?
I think I've made it vague anyway. We wanted to be self-sufficient and grow our own veg and keep chickens and stuff. And as I was able to get a transfer with work, we managed to buy an old empty house in the deepest countryside in another vague English county. The house had sat empty for 2 years, but it had nearly half an acre of unkempt gardens, so we were delighted with it. When we moved in, we had to sort the electrics and the water out pretty sharpish, so Matt rang the water company. On being told that the house had been empty for some time, the water company, who seemed a bit snarky, told us that the water main connection would have been capped off and that they would have to come out and look at it, which would cost 200 quid. Yes, just to come out and look at it, 200 quid.
Goodness.
Then they told us they would want more money to reconnect our house to the mains. Ouch. Matt gave me the news, and when he put the phone down, we sat and had a think. There was a paving slab on the driveway. We decided to take it up and see if there was anything underneath it. Hey presto, there was. It was a stopcock. We were very pleased and duly turned it on. Back in the house, we tried the taps. Fantastic. Yeah, water was coming out. Hooray. Anyway, when you relocate, there are lots of things to do. Your list is very long. We had to try and sort out all our stuff and deal with new jobs and so on. And as it happened, we forgot all about the water company for a very, very long time. In fact, by the time we realized that neither of us had actually rung the water company to set up a direct debit, quite a few years had passed. So many, in fact, that we dare not contact them now in case we got several years of water bills charged to us. We lived on a dead-end road, which had a couple of big farms on it. Water company vans used to come up and down from time to time. This would terrify us when we saw them, but they never stopped at our home. We were off the grid. Well, 7 years later, it's time to move on. We'd found a place with more land and sold our little house. We were feeling quite pleased with ourselves, having got away with no water bills for a long time. So imagine my horror when I found that as part of the paperwork for selling up, we had to produce utility bills.
Yeah.
We hadn't had a water bill for 7 years. Eventually, because there was no choice, I rang the water company. Hello, I said. I've recently moved into a house. Can I set up a direct debit, please? They told me that because they had no record of our address, they would send around somebody, which I thought odd, but there you go. Quite soon afterwards, a water van arrived at our house. A very nice man got out and agreed that there really was a house there. And had we been here long, he wanted to know. Oh, not long, I replied, crossing my fingers behind my back. Well, we got our utility bill sorted and moved to our new and bigger house. We never did pay a penny for all that water. It's only now that I'm living in Ireland, where you do not pay for your water, that I remembered just what we did back then.
Really?
And I've checked this, and Ireland is the only OECD country where you do not pay directly for your water. Lady Lynda says, I now realize, obviously, that what I did, in fact, what we both did, could be considered as theft.
It could be.
And
could
can never be justified under any circumstances.
No.
Although I'm not asking the water company for forgiveness because they were quite high-handed and brusque when we first rang, but we do feel a little bit sorry for the man in the van who had to come all the way out into the sticks for no real reason. Yours hoping for forgiveness. I think I've kept that suitably body. I think we got away with that just about. Lady Lynda, hoping for forgiveness. I know what Sister Holly Susie is going to say because the mantle of responsibility weighs heavy on her young shoulders.
Yes, well, yes, I think it's the lying, really, that's the problem here. You lied to the water company man's face that you'd only been there for a few weeks, and actually you'd been there for 7 years. And so, yeah, that wasn't great. Also, how did you live with the guilt and the fear? You know, every time you saw that water company van, it just sort of a shudder went down your body. Why? Why, when you could have just come clean and you would have been so much happier? That weight could have been lifted off your shoulders.
There's all the sewage in the rivers, of course, but that's something else.
And so, for that reason, yes, not forgiving.
Not forgiving. Okay, I knew that exactly that's what you were going to say, because that's what you have to say.
I do.
However, brother from another guy.
Well, I'm going to find myself in the Fergal Sharkey camp here, because it is very difficult to find any way of saying that this can be condoned, because obviously it cannot be condoned.
No,
however, I'm going to find a way, because this week I had to pay 100 quid for a man to come out and tell me that he had no idea how to fix my boiler. 100 quid to come out and say, I don't know. I could have just burned the money myself and saved him all the bother.
I don't think Fergal Sharkey is concerned about that.
Is he not?
No.
Well, he should be. Add that to the list, Fergal. I'm going to forgive, because if it was just 200 quid to sort out the stopcock when it's just turning the stopcock, that's not good. So for that reason, I'm going to forgive.
Impeccably argued.
Yes, I thought so.
Do you forgive Lady Lynda for tonight? I suspect people are going to forgive, just because it's a water